Hi, I'm Melissa at last, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my garden, Rose Ether Cherubim. So in our past videos, we have been deep in business kingdom mindset. How do we show God that we're about kingdom business and that we're ready for the application of everything that we learned so that we can grow and prosper and ultimately give that glory back to God through helping others and through shining God's light. So we talked a little bit about content before, and we're going to kind of stay in that realm with building multiple streams from your content. And the corresponding verse is Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 2. And I think it's very important that we take this verse to heart and really understand what is being spoken to us through this verse. I'm going to read it for you. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. Okay, we've heard the saying before, do not put all your eggs in one basket, right? That basket, a lot of things can happen. You know, it can get stolen, something can happen and tip over, and then again, all your eggs are now in one basket. And the warning, from God is that we have to invest, especially finances. We have to spread out those investments. We have to put them in different areas because again, we are facing things in this world that can try to affect those investments. Life can be unpredictable in ways. And it's a good thing because if life wasn't unpredictable, it would be quite boring. And God is teaching us to be savvy children of light. I talk about a lot of terms in scriptures like about the unjust steward, but Jesus kind of commends the steward not for stealing and acting a certain kind of way, but just for protecting his future and knowing how to move and put himself in a better situation. And we got to know that too. So one video, one piece of content can create multiple streams in various areas. And you have to put what you're doing, what you're creating, put it in various areas. A lot of what we hear, especially people who rely on one form of social media. For example, we hear about a lot of creators who are on TikTok and they're on the creator program. And so when big changes happen, when TikTok gets shut down or the algorithm isn't in their favor anymore, if they're relying too heavily on just one platform, it can be devastating. It can be, like having your knees cut out from under you. So you do want to post on multiple platforms, as many platforms that suit what it is you're trying to promote. So we have things like YouTube, we have things like TikTok, IG, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitch. There are so many avenues where you can begin to build a community. You can begin to get your face out there. Lemonade, I think Substack, there are Threads. There's just so many different places that you can go and that you can begin to post and begin to be seen and begin to build a community and get your face and reputation out there. So the biggest thing is if you're posting in an area and you're not getting traction, don't delete it and start over. Just continue working at it and go into other areas that you are gaining traction and just begin to show love and post and interact with the community that you're building there. So consistency in your products is going to build over time. So again, people might come across you on TikTok and be like, okay. But then they come across you on Instagram too, and they're like, you know what? Let me go ahead and give them a follow because I'm seeing them and I am liking what I see. And it happens a lot in human nature where we see something and it's like, okay, we agree with it. Yeah, you're right. And then, but we may not follow right away. We may not like right away because maybe we like how our algorithm is. We don't want to bombard it. But the more we see it, the more that it's coming up, because the way the algorithm works is the longer someone stays on your video, watches it, it kind of will begin to bring them similar videos to what allow them to stop scrolling. So you just never know where it's like somebody is more open that day and will stay on your video longer, and then again you begin to circulate a little bit better. So just stay consistent in how you're posting, and maybe in the time limits of what you're posting. Definitely post every day. And I want to say post every day if you can, but honestly, posting every day is a must. And putting your best quality into what you're posting will also be very helpful, because again, someone can come across you and you're putting a video that you didn't put your effort into, and that's their first impression of you. So you want to put your best foot forward in everything that you create. And as you continue to create and stay consistent, your quality, your editing, your verbiage, your presence of being able to come through in 15 to 30 seconds, that is going to increase. It's only going to get better every time, because you're praying over your content. You're asking God to push you in a way where, again, you are putting your best foot forward. And the biggest thing too about doing that is you're getting your face seen on multiple different platforms, but you're building communities within each one. So do your best to, respond back to comments, or like, or, kind of show your support back to the different communities that you are beginning to build. And, for me, there are times where I catch up and I, reach out back to people. And then there are times where, the day gets busy and I try my best, but always try your best to support and show love back to the community who is supporting you. So one idea can turn into multiple products. Your reputation that you're building, what you're promoting, you put that across many platforms, and you never know how people throw ideas back at you, and you can begin to get inspired and create different things that stemmed from one thing. Like I'll begin a painting, and then since I'm already working in that creative mode, new ideas begin to come in, and a painting then becomes a series of paintings that I can begin to talk about or showcase, or put up and stem even more creative ideas off of. So a painting then becomes a series of paintings, then becomes a series that you could create and put on social media, that the creativity also stems into maybe a little bit of poetry or explaining yourself. And then what you created from one thing cascades into bigger and bigger things, and ultimately cascades into many ideas for content. So sometimes people will create one thing, one product, and stop, because they're looking for the success from that one initial thing, and then the success will give them the validation to continue. But you have to continue without that validation. You have to continue creating, because we come from a creator God. So he put the creation process within us to be creative. So you have to continue honing that creative skill and allowing those ideas and abilities and skills to flow through you without outside validation. Eventually, it will come. And I've said this before, God is not going to have us put in energy into things that are not going to give us something back to keep going. So you have to continue creating, and it's easy to create one thing, not get the validation or what you're expecting from it, and stop. But sometimes people are waiting to see what else you can do. That might not be their style that they like. It could be good, but it's not their style. And they'll react when they see something that calls to them. Or some people are just kind of like they like it, but they're shy. They're not going to tell you. They're not the type to comment. Maybe they're just like a silent watcher. So you have to continue without requiring the validation from man. And what you're doing, what you're promoting, what you're creating is good or not. It is good because you came to God first and created these ideas with him. So that is why sometimes people kind of like, I did it didn't work out, and now I'm not going to do it anymore. But don't do that. Continue. You're going to continue to hone those skills, and you're going to continue to bring new ideas into fruition, and people need to see it, and people need to see multiple things from you to kind of gather who you are as an artist, who you are as a creator. And again, this scripture is going to apply and continue to apply, because the more you spread out your investments, the more you show what it is you're capable of, the more you build trust and a reputation for building those things. Plus, you show up with some consistency. My goodness, eventually people are just going to be drawn into you by how often they're seeing your face, by how often they're coming across your work, and be like, you know what, now I can recognize so-and-so's work because I've seen so much of it. And I kind of am beginning to like their style, or I'm seeing where their style leads, and I'm seeing improvement, and I like it, and I support this person. So the support will come in time, but just continue creating, and don't be afraid of things flopping or things failing. Trust me, your art, whatever you're creating, your style, it's gonna speak to somebody. It's gonna speak to more than one person. It's gonna speak to multiple people. Just continue to put yourself out there so it can reach those people. So I've created a few things. I've created some artwork. You can see some of it behind me. I put a lot of it up on like an eBay shop, and I want to continue, building off of that. And a lot of things like from stickers to maybe coloring books. I just want to continue to expand upon that. And me and God are doing a lot of back and forth about what the next steps will be. But there's definitely going to be some next steps, especially now that I'm in a place where I'm feeling a lot healthier and my creative ideas are beginning to flow again. When you're a creative person, you go through these lulls where you kind of pull back from creating, and you are figuring out what your next steps are looking for the inspiration again. And there are times that you're going to go through that, but the more that when the creativity and that flow comes and you continue to work and strengthen it, those periods become less and less. But anybody who's truly creative knows that you're going to go through it, but you begin to strengthen that creativity muscle when it's there. Use it and continue to build and expand upon it. And honestly, you should be creating even in times that you don't feel it, because then it's going to come back. And this creativity can kind of be like motivation. You may not always feel it, but you need to continue. And whether it's through writing, whether it's through cooking, whether it's through art, just do everything that you can to continue creating. And I understand that sometimes things in life, stress or a change in your schedule or new responsibilities arising, a lot of those things can kind of begin to have you put that creativity work in the back burner. But do your best, do your absolute best to not let that happen. And as someone who has let that happen in multiple times of their life, I'm telling you, do your best to not let that happen, and continue to stay creative. Whether it's a hobby or it's something that is becoming a business, it's still important and is still needed for your spirit and for other spirits to see and witness. So multiply your content by finding as many platforms as possible that speak to who you are, that speak to your brand. Work within those communities that you're building. And again, if it's one person, 5 people, 10 people more, that is okay. I've heard somebody say like, okay, you're upset because you got 14 likes on your video, right? But if 14 people came to whoop your ass, that's a lot of people. So you got to look at it that way. You got to really change your mindset and don't look down on your numbers. One like is one person who had your back and supported you in that moment. So really move in gratitude, and don't compare yourself to other creators who have been doing this for years, all right? Who have a big community that loves and supports them. If what you have and what you're given, always remain grateful for that. Because there was a point in time where you weren't making any content and you weren't doing this. And it is a process. And it's a process that we're working out with God. So you can't let God down by giving up on yourself or being hard on yourself and creating stress and something that you're called to do and love and enjoy doing. So really stay in that mindset. And again, get your face in as many faces as possible. Be consistent and be there. And be a little bit shameless in your promotion of yourself. I'm not saying overdo it and be wild and, kind of make people feel bad for not following you, but just be persistent. Believe in yourself the way that God believes in you and the way that you believe in God. Put that effort forward and know that what you're doing, something is going to come of it. And you're grateful for every step of the process. And you continue to put yourself in multiple areas. So if a platform does get disabled, you lose access to an account, your account gets hacked, for some reason you can't use, you get blocked or you get banned from a platform, which I have, but we'll go into that another time. You can continue you already have traction in other areas. You're not only in one basket, popular in one basket, and something happens and then you're like feeling defeated. God doesn't want that for you. So we got to move smart and put our eggs in different places. We got to hide them in different places. We got to put our content in different places and build in different places. And once you do that and you're consistent and you are putting your best foot forward and you're getting the hang of this content thing, multiple streams come in from more than one place. You're getting monetized in more than one place. You're building community in more than one place. So you lose a platform, you can tell everybody, hey, come here. And they'll be able to see you in a different area. Oh, their longer videos are over here. Or, oh, I find their poetry over here. Or, oh, look, over here is their storefront. So you're opening people's eyes to the different, and they can see you in a multifaceted way. So you're opening their eyes to all your different forms. And somebody may have followed you and only seen your writings on Twitter and thought you were funny, and then boom, they're now finding your videos on YouTube. So you want to put that effort into putting your content everywhere, and kind of being able to pick different platforms where you're showing different sides of yourself, and people can follow you from everywhere. And your community can begin to integrate with other communities, and you're building a bigger following, bigger people who love you, a bigger group of people who love you. So, God is guiding us to do this, and it's a smart way to move. So I know that you're going to do it, and you're going to put the effort into finding the platforms that are right for you. And when God deems it so, that means monetization and multiple streams of income where you can do this more and more, and you can begin to have the support and get the different supplies that you need to improve the quality of your content. I believe in you, friend. And I want to make sure that you're believing in yourself, because you can do this. You can have an income, and you can have multiple streams of income through social media, through your content, but also enjoy and love doing it, and it not be a stressful thing. It be like a fun, happy thing that you enjoy doing, that you can't wait, and you're getting these creative new ideas to try this or do this, or be happy in what you're doing and continue to grow that creative muscle, because we are spirits. We need creativity. We need that outlet to create and do things in regards to art and music and cooking. Like, our spirit genuinely needs that. It's not just all work and no play. We really need to be temperate in these different areas and make sure that we are bringing creativity, art, music, dance, all of these different things to in our lives, and showing others that they can do it too. And the creativity energy, the creator energy, is such a potent, vibrant, like joyful, like it really truly brings a lot of great things in life, and people forget that. And it's important that we bring that back to the forefront, because if you look at times with like the art renaissance and all these different things that have to do with creativity, pieces of music, all of those transcend time. We all know what Moonlight Sonata sounds like, from Beethoven. We all know, the Mona Lisa and what she looks like, and she ain't got no eyebrows, but that art, that what was created, transcends time. We all know Pablo Picasso. He, his people look crazy. It's like a whole bunch of shapes that make a person, but the fact that they created and they did something. Edgar Allan Poe and The Raven. We all know Nevermore is it. We all know those stories. We all know those artworks. We all know the sound of those things from people that created that are no longer here. That's why that creative energy is vital. And that's why we need to keep creating, and we need to keep putting our stuff out there so that people can hear it. We have the ability to reach people from across the globe, from our bedroom, from our car. So we need to create, and we need to reach those people. It's just part of what we do. It's just part of the protocol of being one of God's children. We got to do it. And so promote yourself and put that content out there. Put it out there as much as you can and as far reaching as you can, and you will be amazed. It's going to build the multiple streams of income for you. It truly is, and it truly can. You put that consistency, that prayer, and your best foot forward, and it's going to happen for you. I believe in you, friend. And remember that I love you, but God loves you more. We'll talk next time.